How to hire a good sales rep. In this video, I'm going to teach you guys some of the strategies we've used, and mistakes actually, in finding a good sales rep. Now, first off, my shirt says resting pitch face, all right? I love sales. Sales is awesome. I believe that sales is one of the coolest professions on this planet, and it makes the economy literally go round, okay? So when I was in college, I was listening to this guy, and he was like, actually it's Robert Kiyosaki, and he goes, hey, if you're gonna be an entrepreneur, you have to be good at sales. You need to know sales. And he himself went through a year and a half of being like one of the worst salespeople. I think it was at Kodak. Or no, Xerox. It was at Xerox. And so finally he was good. And he stayed there long enough, he sucked long enough to learn the game in order to become good. And I was like, I need to do that, especially if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And so I decided, this is a little weird, you don't have to do this, but I decided, where is the toughest sales environment that I can find? I want to go learn sales in that environment. So I did 2 summers of door-to-door sales, and I actually was a telemarketer for a while. Sorry, I was that guy. But I was like, man, it worked. It worked. And one of the things that I was able to do is, I remember the second time I was doing door-to-door sales, my sales rep was like, hey, if you bring on other salespeople, we will give you a small override of all of their sales. And I was like, that sounds like a sweet deal. So in between classes, what I did is I printed out these half sheets. And these little half sheets, I mean, I literally printed thousands of these things. And I knew enough that if I had just canvassed enough of the dorms, that I would get salespeople coming in saying, I'm interested to come do summer sales. I was like, sweet. So that's what I did. And I remember I put on the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss, and I literally just started canvassing doors. And I did that for months. Now, I also understood the metrics. And the metrics were that for every 100 flyers, I would get 1 to maybe 2 people interested. So that was the name of the game. It was a numbers game by that point. Now, you don't have to go through and do all that to find a good salespeople and find a good sales individual, okay? But that is what I used to go do. So what I'm gonna teach you is what we do now, and I'm gonna walk through 3 different steps that we do to not just find, but kind of introduce and train our salespeople so you can do it in your own company. All right, now I mentioned Tim Ferriss at the beginning of this. I'm a big fan of Tim Ferriss. The book 4-Hour Workweek changed my life. It was awesome. I love that book. Tim Ferriss, though, in that book actually says that before he ever hires a support person, he spends the first month, 2 or 3 doing support on his own. And then what he does is he just literally documents every single thing, every single question that comes in, every support question, and he documents what it was and his answer. And so now he has this big book of like what they said and how to fix it. And he literally is creating the manual by just documenting what's happening as he's playing that role. Now he knows exactly how to hire. Sales and finding a salesperson is actually the exact same. Do the sales role yourself. It is massively disheartening as a salesperson to walk into an organization and find out that the person hiring you has never sold the thing you're trying to sell. So before you try to go find somebody else, you need to know how to sell the thing yourself. So go out and sell the thing yourself. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna document. This is the easiest way to do it, all right? Easiest way to do it. And this is one of the reasons I was one of the top sales guys over and over and over again, but it's also the key to finding a sales rep. What I did, and you're gonna do the same thing, all right? What I did is I had a little notepad with me, and in the first 3 to 5 weeks of me pitching, I would hear the top 3 to 5 objections that I would hear the whole summer. Does that make sense? Everyone thinks we have a different brain, and we do, but our brains also naturally work the same. And so when I was selling pest control, for example, I would go knock on the door, what's up? Right? And I go knock on the door, I'd be like, what's up? Pest control. And they would say one of 5 things that I knew they were probably gonna say. Oh, my spouse, I gotta talk to him. Oh, but does it kill bugs? Oh, but how often do you gotta come back? This is a contract. Or the other one was, I already have a company. There they are, there's the 5, right? And every sales job I had, I very quickly just documented every single objection somebody had to purchasing, and then my entire role was to figure out a way to solve it and go back to the close. That's it. Manual created, right? That's why it works so well. So before you go find a salesperson, know what the top objections are. Know how to solve them. And when you are finding those people, right, it really, really helps, because now you can say, I've been selling this, and by the way, I've done like half the research, if not more, for you, because here are their objections, here's the way we answer it, and now you set the stage really well for good salespeople to feel good coming in. The other piece I'll just add on here is that if you want to make a salesperson feel good and like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go do this with this person, you need to have a plan and have proven your lead source. All right, it is so disheartening. I mean, when I was a telemarketer, I was straight up cold calling. And technically with door-to-door sales, right, I'm knocking on people who are not planning on buying that day, so it was all cold. But if you go up to, and like, we don't do that now, but if I go to someone who wants to be a salesperson for me, it's really, really powerful to have done some homework saying, we know how to get leads, and this is how you get leads, and we already have the leads for you, and this is, so it's not straight cold calling. You get really, really amazing people by solving that problem for them. That's the other feel good they need to have in order to join your team. All right, the next step is actually finding the salesperson, right? You gotta find them so you can pitch them on pitching for you and closing for you. Now, this is just a way that we've done it. There's a lot of methods to doing this. You can buy leads lists of salespeople. You can go into Facebook groups that are all filled with salespeople and try and get them in, and that works as well. One of the ways we used to do it, and I guess we kind of go back to it every once in a while, is we actually will scrape LinkedIn on their resumes. There's ways to figure out what people have on their resumes. If someone has sales or anything related to sales professional on their resume, we'll scrape their profile and get it on this big Excel sheet, and then we start reaching out to them systematically. And my favorite ways to do that are to drop a big broadcast email, say, hey, look, we saw your resume, we're interested in talking. Okay. The other thing is to reach out through voicemail. One of my favorite softwares, it's actually called Sly Broadcast. There's a lot of them though, there's tons of them. That's just one of them. But what you can do is you can pre-record, so I'll pre-record on my phone, a voicemail and say, hey, what's up? It's J Larsen. I know you don't know who I am, but we've seen your resume. Your resume's come to our attention, and I'd like to talk to you about maybe doing some sales for us. We have a cool track record. We got a great product. Other salespeople have liked it. Anyway, reach back out if you're interested. We'd love to be able to fill this position and kind of for the long term, right? That's kind of it. And what's cool about that is I can drop that as a bit on thousands of people's phones straight to their voicemail in like seconds. So it's kind of cool. So it doesn't ring. It's called ringless voicemail. Ringless voicemail will skip past the ring and drop right to their phone. Well, they're phone people, right? So it's powerful because you're meeting them on their level. You're like, hey, this is where I'm gonna talk to you. So that's a powerful strategy for you to go find people. And it's one of my favorite ones. Actually, later today, I'm supposed to record another voicemail to go out and do something similar like that again. Okay, this is a strategy we use frequently. All right, now I'll tell you that once somebody says, yes, I wanna come in and think about maybe doing sales with you, I wanna do an interview. Let's say they say yes. It is the way that you bring them in greatly sets precedence for how they behave after they're in. Okay, so what we do is we put them through a gauntlet, and we tell them, if you can't sell something in the first 2 weeks, I'm sorry, but we have to fill your seat with someone else. There, you're gone. And that kind of pressure is good, right? Sales and salespeople and everyone, right? The economic engine needs that pressure, right? And so when you go to someone and you tell them like, hey, you got 2 weeks to sell something, that's actually really, really lenient. Actually, Alex Hormozi, who has made tens of millions of dollars with phone systems. He made so much money. Alex Hormozi is one of my favorite people on this planet. And I was hanging out with him, and he was like, we don't give 2 weeks, Stephen. We give 3 days. I said, 3 days? That's crazy. He goes, yeah, when people come in, we put them through the gauntlet, and our gauntlet is we give them just a big list of 100 leads, and we say, you got 3 days. Prove that you know your stuff, right? So the reason I'm saying this to you is, number one, understand that that's normal, and they also know that's normal. Second of all, you need to understand with this that it's a bit of a revolving door for a while. Because while they're probably a talented salesperson, regardless, sometimes they're just not a fit for what you're trying to sell. And so it is a revolving door. So those of you guys who get really, really nervous about making sure everyone's 24/7 comfortable all the time, like, you may not be the best sales manager. I'm just telling you, all right? Don't put so much heart into it that you're like, I have to be responsible for that person's sales ability. No, sales professionals are used to this environment. They know this. And so when you say, hey, here's 100 leads in 3 days, or here's a bag of leads and you got 2 weeks, right? And that's how you start. They're used to that. And most of us internet marketers don't know that they're used to that, and we get nervous and say like, this doesn't work, or this is a heartless game. It's not true at all. It's literally how the industry works, okay? So just know that coming on in, it's a bit of a revolving door for quite a while. When I say quite a while, we've been filling and continuing to revolve the door for about 6 months so far. I'd say we have another 6 months to go before it's really solid. Before I show you some of my favorite ways to train salespeople, hey guys, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Comment down below. I'd like to know what are some of the favorite ways you have found salespeople. There's cool softwares, there's cool awesome scrapers, legal, all right, but really cool ways. Put it down below. It'd be fun to make a resource list on how to find good sales professionals, which is one of the keys of the internet. Hit the like button and go ahead and hit the bell because we put these videos out every single morning on the weekdays. All right guys, salespeople are serious about their rituals almost to a superstitious level, and And I get it. I had the exact same thing. I call it the sales jitters. Here's the scenario. You wake up, you slept well, but maybe could have slept a little more, and you're not totally feeling it that day. You know what I mean? And you're like, I don't know if I want to go get some rejection in my face. That just sounds amazing. You know what I mean? Especially when I was doing door-to-door sales, it was the sales jitters piece. So we had this tradition that as soon as you get dropped off in your area, you have to literally sprint out of the car door and run to the first door and just knock on it. Right? And the reason is because you're trying to break through the jitter zone. You're trying to get rid of that feeling like, I don't know, because then you hype it up bigger than it is, and then you start making these stories in your head, and it jacks with you. And so salespeople are really, really big on this. So what I want to go through real quick is a few rituals that we do to help ourselves as well as a lot of salespeople break the jitters, keep their skills sharp, because this is a big part of your job as a sales manager, managing salespeople. You have to know these. This is not an exhaustive list at all, but these are some of the things that I do, and I love. I loved when we did them as well. The first is as a morning ritual. Guys, you got that big list of objections. It is imperative that you spend 15 minutes at a minimum just role-playing with each person, breaking that belief. Right, so this is how we would do it. We would get together in the mornings. We'd have our sales meeting, and we'd just talk real quick about everyone's goal, real fast. It's it's fast, it's snappy, and then we say, "Cool, role play." And you just turn to the person next to you, and you stand up, and you say what the top objection is that you got yesterday. Oh, here's the top objection I got yesterday, and it sucked. It was not amazing. And the other person, okay, well, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna dish it right out to you. Here we go. I gotta talk to my spouse. Oh, it's so cool, you're gonna talk to your spouse, that's awesome. I gotta talk to my spouse to make decisions as well, but this is pest control. Your wife doesn't like the bugs anyway, right? Come on, let's make you the hero today, right? Come on, let's get some brownie points. Is 4 or 5 o'clock okay for you today? Right? You know what I mean? I'm just making that up. But that's kind of what we would do. And what you're trying to do is keep the salespeople sharp. And so you practice for 15 minutes each morning, just a quick dish out of some of the most common objections or the biggest one that got stuck on yesterday. And you're practicing getting around it. Just that right there is bubbling up to the top of their skill set, which is amazing. All right, hey, we used to do this thing called Power Hour. And Power Hour was an hour during the day that was always a little bit slow. And so we choose an hour during the day, let's say it was like 3 to 4 p.m. Like not a lot of people are home yet, or there's nap time, or something's going on. So we would call it Power Hour. And the managers would give an extra little bonus for sales you got during that time. And it was cool. It was awesome. So what we would do is, it was an incentivized power hour where you're basically sprinting door to door to door to door. And everyone as a team is going, ready? Go! And everyone just goes crazy with it. We decided, because capitalist pig, right, is what I call it. We call it trough hour. And we trough hour, and we're just all pounding phones. Bam, 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 just closing as hard as we can for a 1 hour sprint. That's super fun. Those culture things matter a lot in an environment where you can get down because of all the rejection you're experiencing. Last piece with this, guys, they need to be turning in their daily metrics. So every single day, each person needs to toss in how many people they talked to, how many people they sold, what the top objections were, and that at a bare minimum. That right there will also, as you look across the day, the week, and the month, you'll start to see the performance of someone drop. And you're like, what's going on? It is your way, it's your feedback loop so that you can keep tabs on people who maybe are getting a little down on themselves. But it's also how the salesperson measures their own success. Like, oh man, look, I've talked to less people, but I'm getting more sales. I'm getting better at closing. Those metrics are so powerful. Hey guys, I got a little gift for you. We love our swag. I love the Resting Pitch Face shirt, the Capitalist Pig shirt. If you go to capitalismswag.com, it's actually free. The link is in the description and in the first comment. But we decided to actually make the Capitalist Pig shirt free. Just pay for the actual shipping itself, but the shirt itself is free. We'll send it on out to you. It comes out to you same day, actually. Same day. It ships very, very quickly. The link is in the description.